Alright. Hello everybody out there, YouTube comic book community. How's everybody been doing today? Down here in Georgia we had a pretty good day. It was didn't get too hot. Felt like it was in the upper 70s all day. Good breeze blowing, not too humid. Really nice day. So I decided to get my butt up early, head to the flea market. Unfortunately, after a 45-minute drive to the first flea market, which is the main one I go to, the guy with the 25-cent books, and then he does 25% off all his other books. He usually has some good Silver Age books. That's why I've been picking up some of these older Spider-Man, Iron Man 5 last week. Unfortunately, when I get there, it's like 9 o'clock. He's not there. Not in his normal place. So I'll walk around through the outside vendors, all those tables. Didn't find anything. Got through the 4 buildings there. I didn't really find anything caught my eye. No one else, not a single person else selling comic books. So I go back to the 4th building, which is where he's usually set up, and it is, going on 10. Still not there. Booth is empty. It's open. It's lit up. No one's there. Not a table set up. Nothing. I even looked outside to see if maybe he had just gotten there late. Maybe give him a hand setting up. Didn't see him. So I don't know what's going on with that. I hope he's okay. He is an older gentleman, so never can tell what happened. But I hope he's alright. And hopefully I'll see him there next time I go. So I almost came away empty-handed. Where 45-minute drive to the flea market, almost came away completely empty-handed. But before I left there, I do go by another flea market on the way home. But I really like hitting up my 25-cent guy. But with him not being there, after walking around a couple of times and waiting a little while, and he still not showed up, I decided to leave. I take I'm parked down by the, there's one row of tables they actually have, it's covered, it's like an old pole barn. And I'm walking back through those, and been through there a couple of times, but I'm going back through, and there's a guy just got set up a little while ago, a little bit before that. And really, it's one thing on his table caught my eye. Everything else just pretty much standard flea market stuff, but he had this. It's a tin Spider-Man trash can. So I'm going to keep this by my desk. I don't know if you can see on there date. But this says it's from 1979 here. So I hope that's original date, because that's we'd be the same age. But regardless, it's got a little bit of age to it. A little paint's a little faded on it. And I don't know. It's not bad though. It's a little dinged up, but it's been cleaned. It's not nasty. So I'm gonna keep that by the desk. Get a little trash can. Spider-Man can watch my stuff. Make sure nobody steals it. Alright. So left there, and on the way back home, now I'm going by another flea market. It's IBC root beer, y'all. I'm not a big drinker. I figured I'd join everybody with a beer. Root beer, anyway. So I go by the second flea market. It's one. It's 95% of it is indoors. One huge warehouse type building that they have separated in the aisles with booths set up. And I go to the guy there. Usually find some pretty decent, Bronze Age comics, comics from the 80s as well. And almost everything he has is 50% off. So I go through his stuff, and not really anything new this week. Just a handful of new books, and that was it. But he's got a bunch of stuff set out, so I figured there's got to be something I overlooked before. And found some pretty good stuff. First, on a little spinner rack he's got It's a Marvel Presents number 5. I have to check. I may have a copy of this. But even though it's a $3 price tag, he actually had it in his rack for $1. So, like I said, that's 50% off. So it's 50% off of this. And it's not in great condition, but it's not terrible. You know. But yeah, I'm trying to pick up any of these Marvel Presents, Marvel Premieres, Marvel Spotlights. Pretty much any of those I find I'm picking up. And I'm going through a box, and that's the guy where I found the first appearance of Dick Grayson as Nightwing. He had it marked for $5. In really, really good condition. So I decided to go through his Teen Titan books again. I'm sure everybody can imagine what I'm looking for. I'm looking for New Teen Titans number 2, first appearance of Deathstroke. Fortunately, didn't find that. But I'm kind of getting into this New Teen Titans. I see, you know, when I was a kid, everybody said it was kind of like DC's version of the X-Men. You know, teen superheroes. So I've been picking up some of those. I'm trying to get into some Teen Titans. So I pick up issue number 21. Which I don't believe it is the first appearance of Brother Blood, but it is kind of his intro. It's a fairly early appearance though, and this is in really good condition. Very fine, near mint. Let's see. But yeah, really interested in checking this story out. Also got issue number 22. See, it continues that story with Brother Blood. In about the same condition. And awesome George Perez covers, George Perez art. So I had to pick that up. And picked this up, and I had my numbers mixed up. I was thinking that this was the first appearance of Terra. It's not. It's maybe like a first appearance in costume, maybe. But it's Teen Titans number 28. Unfortunately, 26 is the first appearance of Terra. So I have to go back and see if he has that. I believe that was in the box. So I have to go check that. And again, this is very fine, near mint condition. Yeah, all these marked for $5, so I got them for $2.50 a piece. Can't beat that. And I picked this issue up here. Really, as a cover. It's another. It's a Garcia Lopez cover, and it is the Superman number 344. This awesome cover where he is fighting Dracula and Frankenstein monster. See, and it's in pretty good condition. Probably 7.0, maybe 7.5. You know, spine's in pretty good shape. It's got a little bit of few stress marks running down it. Nothing really bad, really small. So, pretty good shape. And this issue here, Lord, famous story. Even if you haven't read this issue, I'm sure everyone knows this story. They made a Justice League episode out of it. I believe it was Justice League, the cartoon from the 90s, early 2000s. But it's a famous story. It's Superman Annual number 11 by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. This is contains the story for the man who has everything. And it's basically Superman's birthday. A Mongol sends him a present. This parasite that you see on Superman's chest puts him in a dream state, and basically, and it's not a horrible, horrible thing. It basically gives him the life that you would think he might want. But you know, as the story goes along, you see it's not all it's cracked up to be. So I have to take and reread this. It's been a long time since I've read this, and I read it as a reprint, so I'm glad to have this issue here. And again, it was marked $5, so I got it for $2.50. I'm not sure what this book is worth, but I think that's a steal. It's awesome. Dave Gibbons art, Alan Moore story. Can't go wrong. And the last two books I picked up from him, luckily they were 50% off. A little bit more than I normally pay for books, especially going to the flea market. But these are in really sharp condition, especially for their age. I'd say a good high, very fine, bordering on near mint. Be really close. But it's issue number 1, Shade the Changing Man. And you see there he had it marked for $20, which is a guide price, but 50% off makes it $10. His first appearance of Shade, great Steve Ditko art. This is after Spider-Man, of course. Excuse me. So, yeah. This was actually, the last time I went, this was actually there. I looked over it 3 or 4 times, thought about getting it and didn't, so I was really glad to see that it was still there. Had to pick that up. And again, just great Steve Ditko art, even though I think the design of the character really looks like a Kirby creation, but still. And also along with that, he had issue number 2 marked for $10, so I got it for $5. And again, it's more, it's more Ditko art. So, really happy about those two. 2 great issues there, put away in my Bronze Age keys. So, and yeah, that's the extent of my flea market books this week. Like I said, I'm disappointed. Also, you know, I hope my vendor at First Flea Market, I hope he's doing okay. Hopefully he'll be back next time I go. So, since it wasn't a really big score, it's a bad word to use, didn't have a really big haul at the flea market, and had a little money left, I decided to stop by antique store on the way home, and I know has comic books. Oh, one more thing at the flea market. Went by a vendor, he's selling some toys. Picked up a couple loose action figures. I don't really know why, except that I remember these as a kid. I actually have this somewhere at my parents' house. But this is the Apocalypse from the X-Men line of toys from 90, 91. I know I have one, but even as a kid, these the tube was running to his arms. Always either detached from the arms or from the hips, and both of mine on my original one detached from the arms. They came off real easy. I believe if I can find it at my parents' house, you can still see where I tried to super glue them back. Yeah, he had this marked for $3, talked him down to $2, so went ahead and picked it up. So he'll sit over here with some of my other things I've got on display. And that's the guy where I picked up a couple of Ninja Turtles figures previous week, and he had a few more, and decided to pick up, I believe his name was Panda Khan. It was Usagi Yojimbo's partner. And I remember I have Usagi Yojimbo up on the wall, bought when I was a kid. And I remember a guy I grew up with lived across the street from my parents. He wanted Usagi Yojimbo, but he didn't buy it because I had it. He went and bought the Panda. And I know we were always contemplating trading one another, but neither one of us could let go of the figures. We liked them too much. And by the time we decided to go get our own, like I decided to go get my own of this, couldn't find it in the store anymore. He couldn't find Usagi Yojimbo anymore. And we still didn't want to trade with one another. So no weapons, no accessories. Again, he had it marked for $3. Talked it down to $2, so I got both of them for $4. You know, that's pretty good. Brings back memories. Alright, so leaving there, going to the antique store on the way home. And I go through. They have a couple of different sections set up. They have some boxes up front with comics that I think they have, for the most part, listed way too much. They're asking way too much for the condition that they're in. I'm talking about, covers missing, and they're asking $10, $12 for. I mean, if it was like X-Men #1 with a cover missing, and, maybe $10 or $12 is cheap. Maybe I'm undercutting it, but I mean, with a cover missing, that's half the comic to me. I mean, yeah, the main thing is the story and the art inside, but it's the cover is what you see first. The cover is what grabs you. I mean, there's a lot of us, we collect books specifically for covers, depending on the artist. There are a lot of people who collect covers, just particular types of covers, whether it be giant monsters or giant insects or things like that. So if a cover's missing, I'm really hard pressed to purchase a book with a cover missing. Like I said, it'd have to be a huge key book. But I did go through their boxes of $1, $2 comics and picked up a few things. I did pick up an issue that they had marked, actually two they had marked for $5, and they gave me 20% off. And I picked up another issue, which I probably shouldn't have, but I did anyway. It was 20% off. Well, anyway, the first book I picked up, it's another one of these in the Marvel Premiere Series, number 29, with the Liberty Legion. They marked for $2, and it's in pretty nice condition. I'd say VG plus maybe. No really bad creasing. About a 1/4 of an inch crease here in this corner, and maybe slightly over a 1/4 of an inch. The rest of the corners seem fine. Edges are pretty sharp. That corner's got a little bit of wear. No bad spine stress. No big creases. So yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to pick up a lot of these Marvel Premieres, Presents, Spotlights, so it's a good one to add to the collection. Also got issue number 30 with the Liberty Legion, and this has got an awesome cover. The Red Skull on, you see here, the invaders. And apparently the Red Skull said he's beat the invaders. So the Liberty Legion is going to come in and attempt to take over. Again, another Marvel premiere. Go into that collection. And this next book, these two characters here, although admittedly I haven't read a whole lot of stories with these two characters, I always found them very interesting. They really piqued my interest as a kid, but couldn't find a whole lot of stuff with them. They've never been the most popular characters, but I think they have a really good story behind them. So I saw this issue number 1. It was in the dollar bin. I went in and picked it up. Cloak and Dagger number 1 from the 4-issue limited series. And again, it's not in bad shape. I don't know, this could be maybe up to a 7.0. No bad creasing. Corners are pretty sharp. Edges are pretty sharp. So, yeah. Really happy to pick that up. So now I can go ahead and read this limited series. I picked up issues 2, 3, and 4 previously. I was holding off reading it until I found this, so I can get that working. Also in a dollar bin there I found, I have number 1 of this, so I figured I'd pick up number 2. Number 1 was pretty interesting, so continue the story. It's Starfire number 2. No relation to Teen Titans. Well, it's in pretty good condition. I figure for $1 I'll go ahead and grab that. This next book, I heard a lot of people talking about these. I picked up a couple of these from this company, from Atlas. It's an Atlas comic from the late 70s, early 80s. And like I said, I picked up some Atlas comics before. They have some pretty neat stories. When I saw this, awesome looking cover, I figured I'd go ahead and grab this. This is one of the $5 comics. They took 20% off. It's Son of Dracula, #1 from Atlas. And I thumbed through it a little bit. Pages are in pretty good condition. They're off-white, cream color. But artwork doesn't look that bad. Didn't really read it, but just glanced over it. Story seems alright. I'll check this out later. But it's just a great cover there. I figured I'd go ahead and grab that one. And this had this was listed for $5 as well, and I debated this. The condition is not great. It's in very good condition, but I figured, what the hell, you know. I've only seen this a couple of times. I'm sure it's not that rare, but it's hard to find around here. Strange Tales, featuring Warlock. This is number 178. Like I said, you can see it's not great condition, but you know, it's not that bad. Basically, it comes out less than $5, so not too bad. This last issue here, oh man, I mean, I've debated over this for several minutes. The guy was kind of getting annoyed with me. They had this in a glass case. They had a handful of comics in a glass case, mostly Silver Age. There were a couple of Golden Age issues of you know, some funny animal books and things. But it's Silver Age, some Batman, Brave and the Bold, a couple of tales to astonish, and I saw this sitting there. I debated and debated and debated, but I have a reprint of this and really wanted this original. I would love it in better condition, but it's an expensive book. I love the cover. Kirby art, can't go wrong. Favorite artist, and so I had to pick this up. Thor, number 145. It's a great cover here. Abandoned on Earth. You see Thor there in street clothes. So, like I said, not in great condition. It's got some creases. It's got some wear. But Silver Age Thor. And they had it marked for 20, top down to 15, and it still took 20% off. So I don't think that's too bad. Normally I don't spend that kind of money on books. I always try to talk them down even more, but it's Thor, and I'm a sucker for some Thor. It's one of the first characters that I started reading when I was a kid. I actually have the reprint of this in Marvel Spectacular. So, like I said, really wanted the original, so I went ahead and picked that up. Alright. Well, I've got a few more things. I actually went back to a used book store, and I'll save that for a second video. We'll go ahead and cut that off here. Flea market haul, and a little bit from an antique store. So, yeah, not too bad of a day. At least it felt nice outside. It's a good day for riding. Riding with the windows down, nice and cool, and just kind of disappointed. No 25-cent man. So I hope he's alright. And hope everybody out there is doing good. Certainly I appreciate. I'm over 40 subscribers now. It's doing well. I'm very surprised, and I greatly appreciate everybody's subs, comments, and the likes, especially comments. I found out a lot of good information from several people, and you know, like I said, just it feels good to be able to have, you know, people to show off the collection and kind of, you know, can appreciate it the way that I do. So thanks everybody. If you'd like to like, comment, subscribe this video, Go right ahead. Greatly appreciate it. And until next time, everybody take care. Peace.